Oh yeah, I've been reorganizing that deck again. That always goes well. So one thing is that Odo was not in the deck at all, which was a problem. When he got upgraded, it removed him, and I didn't realize that. Whoops. I added the Scytheman to the deck, and I switched my weapon to Warhammer, the one where we choose what goes on top. And I'll see how this goes for a bit. I'm just kind of curious. I wanted to emphasize Odo, basically, in general. And he specifically benefits from that now. He does what he did. He does the same thing he always did, but now he gets an additional charge every time. He gives everybody an additional charge every time Meve uses her loyalty ability. Or triggers loyalty abilities, I mean. And that seems like it'd be very powerful, especially with the slingers, which will attack for like 12 damage every time that happens, basically. And so like that's crazy, and then that also crossed with the drummers is just like a crazy amount of actions in general. So that seemed like a pretty cool thing to have in general. And then based on that, based on the idea that I was going to be spamming loyalty abilities again, I went back and added the Scytheman back to the deck. So we'll see how that goes, but 5 might be overkill, I don't know. I'm not super experienced on how to balance decks. All I know is that the minimum's 25 and I'm 13 over that, which might be bad. Although really, being a little sloppy probably won't hurt me that bad, because the game's difficulty is not very high despite being the highest difficulty mode. I don't know. I wonder if they should add a harder one, but I wonder if the systems that they have at play would scale interestingly with a harder difficulty, or if this is all we really have.
Here comes.
My queen, the village has been slaughtered to the last. Not a soul remaining. That is, save for a few Nilfgaardians. They claim to have arrived only recently in order to learn the fate of their collector. He had arrived in the village a few days past and has since vanished without a trace. What shall we do with the Blackclads? They've offered to buy their freedom. Their release, however, may lead to unrest with our soldiers. Interesting. You can't just kill them. That's rare for Nilfgaardians. I can take their money, or I can tie them up, or I can recruit them, which is just... no, have them shackled and bound. Usually the crowd pleaser is kill the Nilfgaardians, but instead we're capturing them. Okay. Oh, the graves are not a interaction point. What's gonna be up here? Aha, puzzle fight. Yeah, with concerns to difficulty of the current system and the way that it simulates difficulty and RPG progression and so on, this may not be something that could be retrofitted very well into an additional higher difficulty if they were to add one to the top of the pile, which I think is what I think they did that too. They added a higher difficulty to Witcher 3, I think, at some point. I don't remember if it was for the main campaign or if it was for the Gwent campaign or both or something, but they added some kind of difficulties later. But I don't know if the systems at play would scale well with that kind of change, or if it would just be kind of clumsy. Maybe just being a casual, fun romp is the highest this game in its form can go for. Hare Caverns. Meve's unit was situated near a deep cave known by locals as Hare Caverns. Perhaps the harmless rodents truly lived there once. In any case, another beast now calls the cave home. Combine the at least 3 identical cards in order to damage the wyvern. Use your leader's ability. Damage the wyvern by combining 3 additional cards. We'll see. Gotta see the real fight before we know what's happening. What the? Are we doing a match 3? The Runestone of the Void. Are we like playing Puzzle Quest? What is this? Voracious Wyvern. Whenever at least 3 identical cards are destroyed, damage self by the amount destroyed. Meve wins when it's destroyed. So this is just here. I can't play it. The Runestone of the Void. This cannot be played. A mere bauble in the hands of fools. Its true power draws from the capability of the commander. It's just here because the game has to have a hand, or I'll automatically lose. Meve command. Move a card to an adjacent vertical or horizontal position. I care not whether the Nausicaa Brigade is bearing down upon you. You move on my orders. Not a moment sooner, not a moment later. I'm so used to saying I'm not accustomed to interruptions that I'm surprised by this interruption of that phrase being used. I wonder if we're using gem falling mechanics? Like if I break them, will they all move in one direction? Like in Bejeweled or Puzzle Quest? Heifer. What? Oh, those are the other variations of this game, okay. I thought it could transform into these things for a second there. She loves nose pets and long walks on the pasture. Has many uses, but it's best for blowing out fingers. The petard. Churning water. It'll soak you to the bone and possibly kill you. Herd of cattle. Everything's better in the company of friends. That's not a herd of cattle, that's the demon cow that kills the other cows from the beginning of the game. You can't trick me. I'm on to you, game. Alright, let's see how this works. Take that, you. Oh. They spawned back like that? Okay. Slightly odd. Do I have a turn count? Or is it just... can I just keep going until... I might be able to just keep going until I run out of choices. Ooh, combo. Combo! This isn't even real. This is like a Candy Crush combo, though, where it's like, I didn't earn that. The game just RNG'd me into success for a bit there. I'm on to you. In this game, it's fine, but in Candy Crush, it's the kind of random Skinner box moment that's designed in order to trick you into feeling better about the game, so that you'll then keep feeling like you almost got it, which pushes you closer and closer just to investing in them microtransactions. They do that. Whenever a game like that has microtransactions, they intentionally create systems where you'll almost get a chance to win, but not quite. And they can, like, more or less mathematically prevent you from winning if they want you to, but also encouraging situations where you can do a pretty good job at almost winning, or at least get a really good combo going on here and there to make it feel really good, so that when you fail, you're more likely to use the microtransactions. What was that pop-up? I didn't get to read it because it went away too fast. It was probably saying that something's wrong with my connection, maybe, or something. And that I couldn't tell Gwent that I got that upgrade yet. Maybe. I don't know, I launched it directly instead of through the GOG browser, so maybe it has to be updated and I missed an update. But that stuff freaks me out. What makes it really transparent is that in Candy Crush, you can't just buy power-ups for the sake of using at some point in the future, like to stock up on them. I mean, you can, but that's not the main way they sell them to you. What they do is you fail a match, and they're like, I don't know, you could get that last little nudge you need to succeed if you buy a microtransaction right now, mid-match. So it's not even like there's the usual pay to win of like, what if Overwatch let you buy better guns for Reaper that make you hit harder, which would be fucked up, pay to win stuff. But then there's the next level thing of like, if you died as Reaper and Overwatch was like, if you pay us $1, you didn't die, and then you just undie. That's what Candy Crush does. It's like next level gross. My lady, Neckers have nestled in the field. The beasts have a nasty habit of hoarding stolen trinkets. We may unearth some of them, but I cannot guarantee we'll escape without losses. Aw, they're just teasing me with Ek all the time. I cannot accept the risk. Come, we continue on. We've reached the campaign where my resources don't matter, but every person does. Hypothetically. This value in the corner is pointless, but lore-wise, we should care about every remaining person a lot of the time. Rivians, I, Queen Meve, hereby proclaim that upon regaining our homeland, I shall immediately cease all production within local workshops and forges. All goods, therefore, shall be imported from our comrades' workshops in Mahakam. As you are well aware, dwarven craftsmanship has consistently demonstrated undeniable superiority and quality over domestic goods. That probably is true with the last part, but yeah, nobody would say that. Nobody would be putting out messages to gain support in such an absurd way that just self-damns. But I don't know. I've seen some really stupid peasants in the Dragon Age and Witcher universe, so maybe they would fall for it.
Meve arrived at the walls of Gradabor, famed for fine rugs and woven tapestries. The city's artisans had been at work, no doubt pressed by the Nilfgaardians, for atop the tallest spire, that of the town hall, flapped a lustrous ebony flag, a sun of golden threads at its center. So vast was the banner, Gascon whistled in admiration.
Gotta admit, the Blackclads certainly have panache.
And a vast and powerful army, I'd remind you.
Reynard interjected.
Arbalists line the walls. That stench in the air, hot tar. And our scouts claim the Blackclads stand armed to the hilt with the best Mahakam has to offer. Victory's not likely to come cheap, I fear.
No cost is too high,
said Meve, a hardness in her voice.
Reynard, Gascon, ready our men to attack.
The Lyrians needed no more encouragement. Since arriving, they had reveled in anticipation of taking the city, then ripping the banner from its spire.
Yeah, they might be helping us a little bit by putting up such a giant garish thing that, like, it'll encourage my own people to be that more mad. That said, no cost is too high is a pretty rough thing to hear from the leader. The Siege of Gradabor. Meve instructed Reynard to personally command the catapults and ballistae during the siege. After all, they were attacking their own city. Any missile off its mark would fall upon the heads of the Queen's own subjects, and they have suffered enough in this war. Yeah, that's rough to have a siege of a city that's your own city. You're hurting your own people. The point of a siege is to starve people out, kind of. And cut off resources, and that'll hurt your people. Kind of a no-win. Mechanically, though, I'm in great shape because the defensive wall that happens in sieges is... It just doesn't seem very mechanically well thought out. It seems to just make me have a massive advantage because they can only place units on half of their board. And I can just burn that part of their board. I guess I don't need 2 firebombers then. Hello, Isbel. Got a Scytheman right off the bat. Got some other dudes. I don't know how much damage I'll take, honestly, to justify Isbel. Scytheman's fun. Odo would be better. I can draw the Scytheman with this guy and those guys. Ooh, Drummer's good. Short in battle, so I should commit to this as my 1 round. Let's keep 1 Scytheman to just keep getting a bonus as we go, I suppose. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Wow, okay, fine. I'll use the drummers.
The walls are strong.
Alright. So there's no loyalty abilities yet. So I'll get this going first, though. There's Odo. Okay. So Odo will be the first thing we draw. Got that set up. Let's start with the AO. What do you do? Damage an enemy by the number of your allied units. Oh no. That's the one way in which the wall is helpful. I think all of these people count towards that total. Shit. He's probably gonna use it immediately, right? I should probably open with using the drummer. I mean the firebomber. because his effect applies regardless of whether or not he's killed. Wait, did they just glitch over each other again? I think they did. Bomb. There we go, both throws are there, so I'm getting maximum bonus. I expect him to kill this guy with his ability, right? I think all these guys count towards that, which means he can damage me by a lot. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, it only gave him 5. So these guys don't count as allies towards that total. Good to know. Well, I baited it out, so now I can use my summoners without much risk. Again and again and again. Oh man, that flickering is going to distract me.
Gate. Someone's opening the gate. Forward, march!
No, don't do that. Oh, is it going to be the guy that was my infiltrator? Wait, but he was in a different country, wasn't he? It's probably just the townspeople betraying them because they shouldn't help them anyway. I'm clearly the right person to help.
Discipline shall bring us victory.
Anyway, here's fire. I've got Odo. It seems wasteful to use Odo this early, considering the usual, but now he replenishes every time I use my ability, so now he's a badass. Let's get you in there so that you can keep getting replenished by Odo. I would like him to stop, frankly. Now they're all boosting each other. Get to work on that. It'll take a while to summon all these guys. Let's start with you. What's a blitz character I want on top of my pile? Some of these other guys wouldn't hurt. With some spikes, it wouldn't hurt. Other fire guy. Put him on top.
You mad? Don't say that. My spirit's willing and all, but
You cannot defeat this power. I think I got my deck scarier. I think it's just scarier now. Oh, the Scytheman. Going back to a power spamming ability, which I haven't used really much of. Who are we gonna get? Oh, okay. Well, another bomber. It's a little disappointing.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, a time to die.
That's a lot of loyalty on the screen right now. The issue is that my deck maybe flexes a little bit better for a longer fight, like a 2-round, 3-round. In a 1-round fight like this, I'm just gonna fill my board up immediately. Seven and 6. Like even these other drummers can kind of quickly become a little irrelevant because I can do so much more with the I can get more slingers or something because Odo can make the existing guy keep going. Yeah.
Arm is a waste of time for one like me.
The arm is a waste of time for one like me. So next turn he'll use his ability, then Odo will be triggered by the loyalty, and then he'll attack again, and they'll both summon again as a result of Odo going again, and then these ones will collectively gain 28 power. It's actually almost disorienting to have a Meve ability that's this short of a cooldown, because I've been getting so used to having 4, then 5, then 6 turn cooldowns. Just more of these guys so that they can be affected by Odo. Oh, did I forget to move people based on the Grey Rider being able to help them? I think I might have done that. I'm primarily targeting people that have armor, because I want them to be, I want the fire to get them in the red, if I can. Ooh. Ooh. Oh no, this row's full.
Left, right, left. What now?
It's gonna be a little hard to get any of them in the red, isn't it? Do I want the last guy to be a drummer? I think I'd rather have somebody else get summoned if Odo gets a chance to do that again. I don't know if he will, though. My other drawing powers may have gotten too strong to justify having this many drummers. I did draw all 4 of them in my opening hand, though. I only have 4, and all of them are in my opening hand. So that was a weird hand. And admittedly, you cut that value in half, or even more, or even a third, in a long battle. So like, short battles are weird in general. That's kind of why I win them all the time, is because I'm prepared for much bigger fights. If I use this guy, I'll be forced to play a drummer next turn anyway. Before Meve's ability comes up. So I can't stop the fact that I'm gonna have to summon one. Oh well.
Left, right.
The math's just not gonna work out. At least he can hang out and be contribute to my total lead, though can't summon anybody. Unless we get lucky. At this point, it'd be more valuable to have Meve's ability that also has a 3-turn cooldown, but makes people stronger that are on the field right now instead of in my deck. But this one, having this one selected lets me maintain a little vestige of the power we were using before of her, in that I can control my draws. The one I was doing before discarded somebody from the current battlefield and summoned 2 people of my choice, whereas this one only lets me choose what's going to be drawn next, but it comes in handy. Oh. They actually killed somebody. Oh, the rider.
Yes.
A rider that doesn't get to be a rider. Unfortunate. Let's burn you. I don't want to use the bomb yet. I would like to give Odo one more turn to let these guys attack again, and then get as many people as red as possible before I use the bomb. These 2 have too much armor, and I won't be able to do anything about that in short notice, so they're gonna get to live. But everybody else... Think all you want, game. You can't change the outcome of this fight. I hope. I hope, knock on wood, knock on wood. Please don't play Exodia. Yay, they did not play Exodia. What I click doesn't necessarily matter. Probably Gascon is probably pretty good considering how much things have been moving around. Let's see. Attack the greens. And the one with the lowest armor, I guess. Roll out of greens. Let's do 6 damage, so if you have more than 6 health, I should attack you. So you, and you, and you, I guess. How you guys feeling over there? Is it going well for you? These are only useful if they draw the spy. I mean, I'm about to have to pass, so why not? That's not the spy. That's not the spy. Alright, well, goodbye, heroes.
Yes.
I should have thought ahead there. I didn't think about it enough, but if I If I thought ahead, I could have drawn the spy. No, drawing... Actually, no. I was only thinking in terms of like what I could play technically, and I could play the spy technically, but it wouldn't really be useful. Because it would go to enemy lines and it'd contribute to their total. And then even if it did, even if the match lasted long enough to send it back to me, it wouldn't get to go anywhere in my field. So at worst, it gives them a bonus, and at best, nothing happens because it destroys itself when it tries to come back to my side. Mahakam Ale is so cool. Not only is it just a large numerical bonus like many of the effects can be, but it specifically is like, it's like a healer. It's just constantly healing whoever on this field, 2 units at a time, which is just a good way to keep units from dying much. That said, definitely somewhat tempted to switch to a trinket that doesn't fill up a slot. The primary downside of Mahakam Ale is that it is itself not, well, he really did keep going.
The city is ours.
The downside of Mahakam Ale is that it takes up a slot on the battlefield itself, in addition to the trophy you already have. So he must have played that one guy that keeps drawing copies of himself, which doing that at the end of the game is actually a pretty good strategy, because that means I can't do anything about it because I've already passed, and he gets to keep playing for like 5 more turns. But he couldn't make up that gap. That'd be a really scary development, though, if there were more chance of losing.
The war was a hard fight, though not quite as hard as most had thought it might be. During the assault, at its critical juncture, a blow fell from the blue. The unlikely heroes, merchants and burghers brought together by the city's guilds. A wave of them, all riled, swarmed the blackclads at the gates and opened them wide to let Lyria in.
Onward! Follow me!
As fighting died down around the city, Meve rode for the town hall on a personal quest. Nilfgaard's vast, garish banner rippled overhead. With its halyard cut, it plunged like a great black bird, stricken. It was the last any would see of the golden sun over Gradobor.
3 cheers! Hip, hip, hooray!
The Lyrians were victorious, though not without aid. Meve met with the merchants who had roused the townsfolk, inspired them to rise up and fight.
Many of my soldiers, dozens, perhaps hundreds, owe you their lives today,
said the Queen.
For that I am deeply grateful. No, deeply indebted. Should you know a way I might repay the debt, don't for a moment hesitate to ask.
The merchants exchanged glances, nodded, grunted, agreed with each other without uttering a word. Then one, a clothfuller, his moustache most robust, stepped forth, bowed low, and spoke for them all.
Your Majesty, the invaders brought laws what don't agree with customs we've long held. Non-humans they forced us to accept. Let them join our guilds, sit on the city council. It's right ridiculous it is. These treacherous dwarves, why, they've been on their side from the start, so it's no wonder. But, well, the Nilfgaardian reforms, we'd like you to revoke them. Non-humans must know their place.
An awkward silence ensued. All turned their eyes to the Queen, awaiting her response.
We'll get to that in a second. I just wanted to talk about a little moment of like what you might call ludonarrative dissonance, which is just that the during that fight, like story-wise, they're these heroes that saved all of our lives by opening the gates and like stopping us from having to do this giant dangerous siege and so on, and compromising the enemy defenses. Like that all happened in the story, and that makes perfect sense narratively. But mechanically, they fucked me because it's so much easier to win against somebody that has a wall, because the wall just takes up half their board and totally screws over them mechanically and how this game actually works. So mechanically, it's like if there was a video, like if it's like as if I was playing Witcher 3 and somebody came in and helped me, and like in the story they were thanked for how much they helped me and everything, but in the actual fight where they supposedly helped me, they actually like buffed the enemy to be twice as powerful. And it's like, oh, thank you so much for your help. I think the mistake might be that they don't make the walls worth any amount of power. So I think the main gate, which you attack to make all the palisades disappear, I think the main gate buffs a random person on their team every turn or something like that, and it also has a consequence that happens if it's destroyed, but it doesn't do much else. But all those walls that take up half their board just sit there, and I think you can't attack them directly or something like that. But I think, if I remember correctly, I think they just don't have power. I'd have to double check. But I think they don't actually have a power rating, and they're just things that can't be targeted because you have to beat down the actual front gate. And them having a decent chunk of power would justify their existence more. So here's the thing, at the awkward moment where she just had to go and say, I'm indebted to you, and I'll do whatever you want to repay you for your great deed. And the first thing they do is like, by the way, we're racist. I'm like, oh no. It's a bit of a gotcha moment. A little unfair, a little brutal. Also makes me think that if I make nice choices, if I make like good choices, like positive, like progressive choices or whatever, as Meve, it's almost like I've possessed her and replaced her with like a completely different person or something. Because like, wasn't she leading this country when it was being racist? So like, isn't that on her? So it would be like weird. Like they should expect me to repeal the Nilfgaardian things, because apparently I was cool with them running things this way before the Nilfgaardians showed up. It's a difficult choice. There's a lot of difficult choices, but this one is a little more difficult in that there's so not an answer here. Because like they should be repaid, but this is such a fucky way to do it. But at the same time, it feels a little unfair just because I'm like, I didn't get to make the decision about what the country was like before. So like, they're talking about returning to a previous state, but it's a previous state that was how things worked when I ran this place, apparently, as opposed to like I'm not just influencing some other country like they usually are, and like disagreeing with their customs, like when I was in that swamp earlier and they were doing like animal sacrifices and stuff. This is my own people, and they were apparently already like this, and that was under my watch. So concerning. I would definitely like to offer them something else, but I can't bring myself to click on this one.
I agree. Non-humans must know their place,
began the Queen.
So listen closely, all. Whether elf, dwarf, gnome, or human, it matters not. My subjects are equal.
Your Grace, you said it thysen. Were it not for us,
my troops would have died, true. Yet among the dead, there'd have been dwarves of Mahakam, I've no doubt. Dwarves who agreed to fight by my side when none believed I could prevail.
The tradesman huffed, the tradesman puffed. Meve silenced them with a firm swipe of her hand. She left Gradabor that very day, furious at the city's merchants for their bigotry, and irked at an unpleasant truth, that even the vile Nilfgaardians occasionally got something right. Come nightfall, the Lyrians pitched camp. Meve sat down and stared into the fire. Her officers, advisors, kept their distance. unsure if her eyes burned with the fire's reflection or a fury deep inside. Only Gabor dared approach her.
You ken, not long back, I asked myself, Gabor, you bampot, you gone bar me? Left my home, clan, family, and for why? To follow a human queen. But the day you showed me, I made the right choice.
Wait, that's an option? You can double upgrade a card? Interesting.
Gabor stood and went back to the mess tent. Had he lingered a bit longer, he'd have seen Meve smile.
Oh. Still, despite the bigotry, I would have liked to offer some kind of reward. Because of what they did do, genuinely. That's how messy and gray everything always is. Where is Gabor? Let's try... Alright. This is all a thing. Oh my god. Alright, yep. So, yeah. The +5 and +1 to the two versions both happened. Again. So we went from doing 10 damage to 15 damage to now 20 damage. And he plays 3 trinkets from your deck. Ooh. Bruver Hoog once wanted to banish him from Mahakam for having a llama in his room. It's a long story. So yeah, if I draw Gabor in my opening hand, I'll just discard 3 trinkets immediately because he'll play them manually and give me a bunch of power as a result, basically. And if not, he'll just deck some dudes, evidently. Good shit. Good shit.